Hey, Viking fans, this is Keith Millard, and you are listening to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. Go Vikes!
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. I'm One Bar with Lupicus, and it is Friday. Wow, look at that sip.
Hell yeah, it's Friday, and we are going to talk some Danielle Hunter. Are you scared? Are you worried? Are you nervous? Are you just fine?
Yeah, let's just talk about Danielle Hunter in general. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. As much as the Vikings want to play it off like they're not concerned, they're not worried. This is a big deal. We're going to talk about it knowing nothing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I mean, there's certain things you can take from OTAs and certain things you can kind of poo-poo away. The one thing you can poo-poo away is Rashad Hill starting, Dakota Doja getting the start. There's a reason they took Christian Darrisaw in round 1 and Wyatt Davis in round 3 to start this year. Yes, they're not going to put them in there right from the start, so don't get worried about that. But when guys aren't showing up and you get reports that they don't plan to show up to any of these, that's a different scenario, and that's something you can maybe be a little concerned about.
Yeah, Courtney Cronin came out and said that doesn't expect him to be really at any of the OTAs. You know, there's been, we all know about the tweets and the chats as far as him being disgruntled. This is just kind of proving the point. Where do you want to start?
Well, what worries me about this, number one, is just the fact that he hasn't been around for a year. He hasn't been on the field since, what was it, July, August, the last time we actually saw him. He had his neck surgery. You would think he would want to get on the field as soon as possible, showing his teammates, showing his fans that he is 100% ready to go. And the fact he isn't doing that, to me, is a major red flag.
Yeah, red flag. I mean, neck injury, very, very serious. We know all that shit that went on with Mike Hughes, neck injuries with other players. So this is something that, warm and fuzzy wise, it would be great to see him come out and at least see, holy shit, he is this Danielle Hunter we saw in 2019, and he is worth giving that contract to. So there's a little bit of mystery there. I wish Robert Stack was here to help us solve that, but he's not. In fact, I think Robert Stack might be dead, which is very sad because that was a great show.
He'll never die.
Well, he'll never die. Actually, I think they're on Netflix, but yeah, it's just it's bad all around. So Hunter, let's look at his case right now. In 2022, I believe he's like the 20 or the 15th highest paid defensive end, which he's got a little bit of a case there. I get it. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are this: the Vikings were smart. They gave him a contract extension when he was still young, kind of hitting his peak, and he signed it. So you know what? He put himself in this own situation. His management put himself in this situation. So don't come around and start being a little bitch because you signed this contract a couple of years ago. You knew the potential you had. You knew how good you were. So really, I mean, from a leverage standpoint, he didn't play last year. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of leverage here. Yeah, he can sit out, and that's which would suck for the Vikings because really his trade value right now is probably as low as it could be for as good as he is.
Are we talking Mike Hughes 7th round pick low?
No. But okay. I mean, really, Danielle Hunter in his prime right now, he's still 25, 26 years old. He's still damn young.
Danielle Hunter is 26 years
old. If you trade this guy as good as he is, I mean, I think he's worth 2 first-round picks or a first-round pick, then like a second rounder and maybe a player or something like that. But I mean, he didn't play last year. I don't even want to talk about
that. We're not trading him. It's not an option. We can't trade him. And you hit the nail on the head because the last 2 years he's had 14 and a half sacks. If he would have played last year and had 14 and a half sacks again, and he's like, look, pay me. All right. It makes a little bit more sense. But the fact that he was out, the fact that he hasn't came back and proven that he is the same Danielle Hunter. The Vikings, they took a big swing because he had 1 year as a starter and they gave him that big ass contract. And guess what? He signed it. So that could have went many, many directions. They didn't know if he's the type of guy who gets that big contract. All of a sudden he just he's happy with that. All of a sudden he's getting 5-6 sacks a year. They went all in on him. Yeah, it's not panning out for where he is right now. But I'm kind of torn on this one, Natalie Imbruglia style.
I was just gonna drop Natalie Imbruglia. Well, here's the thing for me: 2021 Minnesota Vikings. This is a team that looks so much better on paper. Your O line's better, your D line should be better, your secondary is way better. But this is the one thing. This could be that thread, that loose thread that makes the whole thing unravel. Danielle Hunter, if he sits out, starts causing a stink, isn't there for training camp, starts missing preseason games, this gets towards September. This is what could be that one loose thread that makes the whole thing unravel, makes this whole team implode. The Vikings are not going to be successful in 2021 if Danielle Hunter is not playing.
Well, and then you got to look at it from the other side, because you see Juwan James with the Broncos. I mean, a player can just get cut, something can happen like that. So you got to look at it from both angles where, yeah, he wants some money. The Vikings don't want to give it to him, but also the Vikings just say, screw you, and all of a sudden it's done.
But if he's gone, I mean, who's going to – we saw it last year. There was no pass rush without him. Yannick Ngakoue.
I'm just saying, like, things happen. You got to look at it from the Viking standpoint and the player standpoint.
Well, I'm just saying, from a Viking standpoint, without Danielle Hunter, you had no pass rush. It was horrible. It was painful to watch. Yes, you have a few more players. You got Weatherly back. You got Patrick Jones, DJ Wanham year 2. There is a little more hope. But, man, you got to have Danielle Hunter on the field for this team to be successful, to really realize their potential this year. And if he's not, and if he's holding out and things get ugly, which, you know, it seems like every year there's something in the Vikings camp that is some dark cloud comes swarming over. And I really hope this isn't it. I really do.
We'll see what happens. Ideally, they come to some sort of lovely agreement or something behind the scenes where, like, look, come back and show us you're the Danielle Hunter. We're going to pay you like a son of a bitch, a ton of cash next year. Just prove it. Well, but I think when all is said and done, the Vikings are going to, my guess is the Vikings stay strong where they're at. They make Danielle Hunter actually come in. He's not going to want to get fined. He's not going to be giving up that money. He's going to prove it, and they're going to pay him some big bucks.
Well, they do have what, 7-8 million coming up here in a week or so. Maybe they instead of bringing in some stranger, they put that money toward Danielle Hunter. I don't know how they work this. You know, you got Rob Brzezinski. He's a genius, and maybe he will restructure this guy, keep him in Minnesota, because I really think the success of the Vikings this year hinges on Danielle Hunter being on the field. Speaking
of stranger, Perfect Strangers used to be a great show on TGIF. Belky Bartakimos, I believe.
Belky Bartakimos, and was it Cousin Larry?
Cousin Larry. What a show. Go YouTube the intro to that show. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think Cousin Larry had a bunch of dates, and he was not a good-looking guy.
He wasn't. He had some very awkward hair, but let's prediction-wise, Danielle Hunter, how does this end this offseason?
I think he shows up. I think his contract's going to be what it is, and I think he will show up by training camp.
Yeah, I mean, he's not reinventing the wheel here. We see veterans unhappy every year. They don't go to the voluntary ones. Maybe they skip a few the ones they need to go to, and then all of a sudden they just show up pissed off, whatever. Hopefully he comes out hungrier than ever, puts up a big old 16 sack season, and the Vikings are like, holy shit, we should have paid him before he did this, and they end up paying him anyways. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, I'm very nervous about the situation.
Yeah, I'm horrified right now. I hate it. I hate it.
I haven't had a solid poop in 2 weeks.
Well, I don't do that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let us know in the comments what's going to happen with Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, what you think, you know, what you're hoping for, what do you see happening, how's this going to resolve itself? And also, let us know what you think about this. In 1997, a Russian man, Vladimir Markov, he shot a tiger and he stole its food. In response, the wounded tiger tracked down Vladimir's cabin, forced its way inside, destroyed all his belongings, murdered his pets, and then waited for old Vlad to come home. You know what he did then?
Ate him?
Killed Vlad, and he ate him. Don't fuck with tigers.